Hello everyone and welcome to Half History Will Travel. I am your host, the Wilder Historian, and as always, I'm doing research constantly. And whether that's going through archives or going through newspaper articles, I love finding new and interesting stories. And I want to share some of those stories with you. One of these stories I found in the Knoxville Daily Chronicle from April 2nd, 1879, which has to do with some moonshiners who had a shootout with some revenuers. This event happened in Claiborne County, Tennessee, just next to the county in which I live, and so I thought it was a great piece of local history to bring to the attention of people in the local area, but also to the national stage, because people should know about these small little stories. The Knoxville Daily Chronicle, April 2nd, 1879. Of the recent revenue raid into Blackwater region, more violation and resistance than ever known in that region. Our readers have already been briefly informed of the operations of the revenue raid which left this city Wednesday, March 26th to look after violations of the revenue law up in the Blackwater and other regions of Hancock County. Deputy Collector W.R. Cooper, with part of the force, returned on the early train yesterday morning. Captain George W. Atkinson, agent of the Revenue Department, with others came down on the noon train, and others are still to come. In all, there is a force of about 18 men. The justice by whom the officials were acquitted of any legal wrong in the killing of Dave Berry on Friday, as was detailed in Sunday's Chronicle, was the owner of the still in which Berry was found, was arrested, and is now on bond to appear at court. The still was in full blast, and when the squad approached, Berry and others inside were called upon to surrender, but they paid no attention. As the officials started to enter, Berry made for and got a hold of Ike Wright's gun, at the same time making for some kind of weapon. Wright fired his gun while Berry had hold, and Bud Lindsay, another of the officers, then fired, the shot penetrating Berry's breast and mouth, causing his death, after lingering for some time. As has been stated, the officers were cleared of any guilt in being clearly a case of defense. Dave Berry was almost a terror to the community. He was a refugee from Virginia for some crime, and had said he would die before he would ever be taken back. No one seems to have manifest any regret that the community was rid of him. As the raiders were making their way towards home Sunday, they were fired upon by a squad of 9 of the Moonshiners on Big Creek in Claiborne County. Near the scene of the late tragedy in the Epperson family, publication of which was made, they returned the fire and put their attackers to flight, though no one was hit on either side. They had seized and cut up a still before this, a brand new one which was just being put into operation. Further on, they ran onto a large still in very successful operation belonging to Henry Sutton, which was also captured. Monday morning, soon after starting out, they found another still very near to where they stayed all night. They found several places on the trip where stills had been removed and hid away, and they suffered no little inconvenience in finding them by parties carrying the news ahead of them. 8 arrests were made on the trip, 6 were bound over before Commissioner Scarborough at Tazewell, and 5 jailed. Among the prisoners are some of the worst and most daring violators in that country and old offenders. 10 distilleries were seized and 5 copper stills cut up. The officers confirm that there is as much, if not more, violation of the law now going on in that region of the country than ever before known, and they are bolder in their resistance. This state of affairs is due almost entirely to the utterances of political demagogues and demagogical publications which are intended to incite and arouse the prejudices of this class of men, and these are some of their fruits. Again, that was a newspaper article written in the Knoxville Daily Chronicle on April 2nd, 1879. Earlier that year in 1879, there was a Revenue Act being put into place by Congress, which cracked down on illegal distilleries. The mountains of East Tennessee were a perfect place for moonshiners to go. It offered a lot of concealment because now stills could be hidden within these deep recesses of mountains, and it's indicated by this Knoxville report that so many distilleries were in these regions that it was getting somewhat out of hand. I hope you enjoyed this account. I'm hoping to bring some more accounts like this. If you enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll be sure to bring forth a few more stories in the next coming weeks. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next week.